Alright, Hostas, what I want to do in this video is I actually want to clean up this default project even more. And by that I mean, remember we got a home page and also this users page whenever we first started, but we actually don't even need this users page. So let me just rip out the code to make everything a little bit more simple. So let's see what code we don't need. In this app.js file, first delete this favicon because we won't be worrying about the favicons right now. And also delete line number 8, which I guess would be line number 9 before I deleted that. But again, this is just a requirement to that users file that we're going to be getting rid of. And let's see what else right here. Alright, so in line 24, which would have been 26, delete the line for the users because again we're going to be deleting that file, and we of course can't use that middleware if it doesn't exist. So delete those 3 lines of code right there, and also this users route. Right click it and delete it. Okay, so right now of course we don't have any users page, just the home page. And to verify that, if I restart this and try to go to users, refresh it, it doesn't exist. So exactly what I wanted, one single page. I think it'll be a little bit easier to explain if we don't have all that extra crap. Alright, so in app.js, let's figure out what everything does. Alright, so we already know what this stuff is. Express, we learned about, that's what we're using. Path, we already learned about that in, it was like really early, like the 3rd tutorial or whatever, pretty much working with file paths. What are these other ones? Logger is actually a module used for logging out info in the terminal. So for example, you see this right here. It was logged out through the use of Logger, which they named Morgan. I don't know why, but they did it, whatever. Probably the creator was named Morgan or something. And now I'm getting off track, so let's continue. Alright. So cookie parser, you can probably already guess, is for handling cookies. Body parser, whenever you have to parse a text body or a JSON part or a JSON body. Say party? That'd be cool. A JSON party. Whatever. Alright. Then that's what you use. Routes, we already know what that is, pretty much the brains behind everything. Now this line of code you could probably understand from our Connect tutorial. What this does is it's pretty much initializing your app to use Express. In other words, we're saying let Express and let this framework handle all of the user requests. This little chunk of code right here is setting up how the views are handled, and if we chose Jade for like when we were first setting up our project, then it would of course use the Jade as the view engine, but we're using EJS. And again, I'm going to be explaining to you guys exactly how to use EJS in, well, probably the next tutorial. But yeah, alright. So this little chunk of code we're going to see later as well. It's just setting up how data is logged and parsed. This right here is looking at your path. For example, we only have one page right now, so not a whole lot of options. But saying whenever the user requests this page using that path, then use this middleware, which is essentially index.js. Now, if you guys are wondering, alright, what's up with all of these error handlers? Well, what this little chunk of code does is it, as you can see, it catches the 404 error and it passes on to the next error handler. So just like a stack. Oh, I got like a chunk in my throat. So that's why it calls next, passing in ERR, because it's passing it through the stack. And if we ever wanted to make additional error handlers, that's why they threw this little comment right here. They say put them right there. Now this little chunk of code right here and this little chunk of code are both error handlers. In other words, whenever you're working on your project or whenever your website is live and you get a bug, some kind of error, then these tell it how to be handled. Why do we have 2 of them? Well, the only difference between these 2 is that you use this one right here during development and you use this one whenever your website's live, and that's called production. So why would you need 2 different ones? Won't you just handle them the same either way? Well, check this out. You see right here, whenever we went to the website users, well, that doesn't exist anymore. So what it did is it printed out the stack trace. In other words, it printed out a detailed message of our error so we can pretty much find the bug. Now, whenever our website is live, let's say that the user, I don't know, clicks a button and something goes wrong. Obviously, you don't want to be spewing out a bunch of error messages and stack traces to them, because if like my grandma was using the site and she was looking at this, she would probably think someone was hacking into her computer. So that's the difference between these two. During development, when you're just working on your project, you actually want to see these stack traces because they help you find the bugs a lot easier. However, during production, you want to hide those, and well, there you go. And now that we're finally done understanding what the heck all of these files mean, we can get into the fun stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.